Welcome back. So last time I stopped here and I said if we have 50-50% from R and S, they will cancel each other. If you have 70 plus 30, and we said 30% from R, it will be canceled by 30% from S, and that's going to give you rotation equal to 0. And the one that will be responsible for the rotation is going to be the 40%, whatever left from R. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 different ways to find the enantiomeric axis. So first example, let's say they gave you the percentage for each enantiomer. They gave you 80% from R, and they say we have 80% from R and 20% from S. If you want to know how much X's, okay, how much, what's the percentage of enantiomeric axis? The percentage of enantiomeric axis, just simply take percentage of R, and the one that you have X's from it, minus the percentage of S. So you go 80 minus 20, that's going to give me 60%. So I have the percentage of the enantiomeric axis equal to 60%. Okay, I have 60% and X's. What does it mean? It says you have 80% from R. So let's show the 80% from R. Okay, this one is the 50%. And 80% is going to fall, let's say this is 60, 70, 80. So it's going to fall here. And I'm going to highlight that one with yellow color. Okay, I have 80% from R. So that's going to be this one from starting from here to there. This is going to be R. And we have 80%. And the second one, that's going to be the S. So we have S there. Okay. So I'm going to say I have 80% from R. Okay. So the way I'm going to write it, I'm going to say, how about this? We have 40% from R, or forgive me, we have 60%. We have 60% from R. If I add 20% from R again to it, that's going to be equal to 80%. This is equal to 80% from R. Now, 20% of it, it will be canceled. 20%, it will be canceled by S. Okay, so these two, they will cancel each other, and you are going to be left with only 60% and 60% from R. If you know the rotation for it, the direction, and then your alpha, you know the sign for alpha, and it says R is negative, so that means the number for alpha, it will be a negative number, whatever. I don't know the number for it, but it will be negative. Why? Because I have X's from R, and R, it has negative rotation, okay? Negative rotation. That's one. So if you know the percentage, you just subtract them, and the difference between them, it will be the percentage of enantiomeric axis. Now, I don't know the percentage. Okay, how about masses? They gave me the masses. Okay, remember, you're talking about enantiomers. Enantiomers, they have exactly same chemical formulas. Their molar masses are exactly the same. Okay, exactly the same. And so based on mass, you cannot really differentiate them. But how about this? The total mass is going to be equal to mass of the R enantiomer plus mass of the S enantiomer. Total mass is going to be 16 plus 4. That's going to give me 20 grams. Now, let's calculate the percentage of R and S enantiomers. Okay, that's going to be the mass of R divided by the total mass multiplied by 100. Okay, repeat this one for S. You go mass of S divided by the total mass multiplied by 100. Okay, so I have 16 for R divided by 20 multiplied by 100. Okay, the unit is going to be gram by gram, so they will cancel each other. Gram by gram, they will cancel each other. And second one, I have 4 gram divided by 20 gram multiplied by 100. Okay, so I have 16 divided by 20. Okay, multiply 100, it will be 80%. And that's going to be the R. And the second one, it will be 20%. And that one, it will be S. Okay, so now I got the percentage. Now that I got the percentage, I can use the same logic for that I use it for the first sample. And I say this. If you want to know the percentage of the enantiomeric X's, just simply take the one that you have X's from it. I have R. I'm going to take the percentage for R and subtract the percentage for S. Okay. And so I'm going to say I have 80% from R. And I'm going to subtract the 20% for S. And that's going to give me 60%. Okay, left. Okay, so 60% I have from R left inside the solution that can affect technically the rotation. Okay, so again, if I take this, try to present meaning of the non-numeric x's. Okay, meaning of non-numeric x's, we said we have 80%, so I'm going to say this is 80%. Okay, we have 80%. That's going to be the R is 80%. And then you have a 20% from S. And that's going to be the S, 20% from S. So I'm going to say X is of enantiomer. And okay, the enantiomeric X's is going to be, okay, instead of saying 80, we're going to say 60 plus 20. That's going to be for for R. That's going to be equal to 80% from R minus 20% from S. And we are left with 60%. That 20, it will cancel 20 from R. They will give you rotation equal to 0. Okay. And that 60 is going to give you rotation anything other than 0. So you have 60% non-numeric axis. Okay. Now, the third method, say they give you the observed rotation and they give you the specific rotation for one enantiomer. For example, they say we have the S enantiomer. This is the S enantiomer. Okay. They give me the rotation for it. It says a plus 50. Okay. The specific rotation for S configuration. And it says S enantiomer. S enantiomer, it says is a plus 50. Okay. Now, what's the observed rotation? The observed rotation is a 25. Okay. Do I have X's from R or S? Okay. Do I have X's from R or S? How do I figure it? What's the sign for the specific rotation of S? It's positive. Okay. How about the alpha, the observed one? The observed one, again, is still is a plus. Okay. Because it's positive, and the S is the one that rotating the light in a clockwise or a plus side. So I'm going to say I have X's from S. And the minor root will be R this time. Okay. Minor root will be R. So we're going to use this formula. We're going to say the observed. Okay. The observed divided by the specific should give us the X's of, should give us enantiomeric X's. So the enantiomeric X's is going to be the observed. The observed, we have it at 25. Sign for it is positive. You divide it by plus 50. Okay. And that's going to be 0.5. Okay, 0.5. Now, you want to know the percentage for it? Just simply multiply the 0.5 by 100. That's going to give you enantiomeric X's equal to 50%. So I got enantiomeric X's equal to 50%. Okay, again, what does it mean? It means is this. Like, take this. So inside the solution, right now we say the non-numeric x's equal a non-numeric x's, the percentage for it. Okay, the percentage of non-numeric x's, we got it equal to 50%. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, it means 100 minus 50%. Okay, we're gonna get another 50. Okay, what's the meaning of this 50? That 50 is a mixture of R and S. And this 50 is the enantiomeric axis, the percentage for enantiomeric axis. Okay, so we have this. Okay, if this is S, for S, we have 50% excess. Okay, we have 50% excess and plus. The second 50, I'm going to say I have a 25% for S plus 25% for R. 25% for R. And the one that we had excess from it was S. Okay, so how much from S I have? From S, I have 75%. Okay, 75%. Let's show that one. So I have something around here. Let's say this one, 75%, and that's going to be the 25%. So we have 75% from S and a 25% from R. Okay, and that way you can actually calculate how much the percentage of R or S. Or you can, use this formula, and this formula says, do you know the enantiomeric axis? Yes, enantiomeric axis, we got it 50. Okay, if you want to know the percentage of the enantiomer that you have more from it, the percentage of enantiomer that you have more from it. So I want to know the percentage of S. Why S? Because the rotation was positive. We got the rotation in positive, and S is a positive number. So we have X is from R, from S. So I'm going to say it's going to be this. We have 100 minus the enantiomeric axis. We got it 50. Okay. And now we're going to divide it by 2. Why by 2? Okay. Why by 2? Because this 50 is mixture of R and S. Mixture of R and S. So if you want to know portion of S, you have to divide it by 2 because the second half, it will be R. Plus, plus we know for sure we have 50% from S. And we got that one through, we got this one through this formula. We use this formula and we calculate how much enantiomeric excess we have. And we got that one 50%. Okay, so why is not writing? Okay. So I'm going to say 100 minus 50 divided by 2. That's going to be 25% plus 50. It will give me 75%. So you can use this formula to calculate the enantiomeric excess for the enantiomer that you have excess from it. Another example. In this example, they gave you alpha is minus 4.6 degree. And now, because it's negative, that means we have x's from R or S. Okay, you're going to look at the sign. Okay, the one on the left, the one on the left is negative. Let's sign. Okay, this is going to be number 1. That's number 2. This one, number 3. So the rotation, it will be clockwise. And hydrogen is back of the plane. So this is going to be R, and that one, it will be S. So I have excess, I have excess from R because R is the negative 1. Okay, so we have excess from R enantiomer. We good? Okay, so let's calculate the percentage. Okay, the observed one, we got it minus 4.6 divided by minus 23.1 because the alpha, the percentage, I need it to be positive. So I divided by the negative number. Or you can use the absolute value for both of them. And then you multiply this one by 100. So you go 4.6 divided by 23.1. That's going to give you, if I stick with 2 sig fig, it will be 20%. Okay, 20%, I got the non-numeric x's. Okay, so now that the non-numeric x's is equal to 20%, that means we have a 20% and more from R. Okay, solutions supposed to be 100%. So I'm gonna say this: 100% minus the non-numeric x's 20. We got 80%. Okay, 80%. 80% is non-active. Why is not active? Because you have 40% R, and also you have 40% from S. Okay, so you have 40% from R and 40% from S, and those two, forgive me, 40% from S. And these two, they will cancel each other. They will make the solution, and the solution until now, racemic. But you have also 20% from R, okay, because you have X's from it, okay? And these two, they will cancel each other, and the X's in non-numeric, it will be just 20%. Okay, so that's the way you're going to use the 80%, which is not active. Okay, or you can say the X's of R is going to be equal to, I have 100 minus the non-numeric X's, we got it equal to 20%. You divide this one by 2. Okay, and that's going to be 80. Okay, so 80 divided by 2, it will be 40 plus, we got the 20% from R. And if I add those two, I get 60%. 60%, I have 60% from R and 40% from S. So we have 60% from R and 40% from S. So 60% R and 40% from S.